Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hello. As you can see, I am Kat Zimm. I am not Georgie Luttrell. Sadly, Georgie could not be here with us this weekend. We wish the best for Georgie. I'm using a lot of her prep, so her work will be reflected in this panel. Georgie, we miss you. We hope everything is okay. We wish everyone health and recovery. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Okay, so first, this is my first opportunity to acknowledge the land we are on. Today, we are on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe, the Mississauga of the Credit, the Haudenosaunee, and the Huron-Wendat. We welcome the opportunity to learn more about these cultures. If you'd like, there's information at Union Station if you'd like to learn more while you're here in the city. These are difficult conversations that need to be had. So please, everyone here, take a moment with me in the room, and if you're watching from home, take a moment on your own to acknowledge the land that you are on right now. Thank you. So, I forgot to get my phone out. We have a beautiful intro that Georgie wrote, and I could never, ever improve upon it, because, as you know, Georgie is an amazing writer. So, here are Georgie's words. We turn to television for an escape from the real world. We love to slip into the unique, whimsical, dramatic, scary, beautiful worlds that play out in front of us on our screens, and connecting with the characters whose stories we see parts of ourselves in is a truly wonderful experience. We have a special group of people to thank for allowing us to do all of that, and those people are the ones who give voices to the characters we love, who brings the world we spend so much time in to life, and who create the magic before it ever goes to camera. We're all fans of Wynonna Earp. It is the reason that why we're here today, and I'm honored to welcome to the stage a group of people who for 4 seasons allowed us to develop friendships, connections, strengthen ourselves, and are in our own journeys, and gave us a place to call home. This may be a shit show, but it's our shit show. Earpers, please welcome to this Acon stage, Shelley Scarrow, Noelle Carbone, Christin Hanly, Matt Doyle, Brendon Yorke, and Emily Andras, your Wynonna writers. Hi, everybody. How are we doing? We're cracking right claws up here. All right.
No laws.
So I have some audience. Wow. In the mic. Bold.
Cheers! Cheers. Welcome to Toronto. It's not good.
So, like I said, I have a mixture of questions from Georgie. Thank you, Georgie, for all the work you did on this panel. I'm trying to fill your shoes as best I can. And also from some fans and some from me. You know, it's been a while. How does it feel to be back on the Wynonna Earp train? Con train. Choo-choo.
Yeah. Choo-choo. It feels amazing to look at all of your beautiful faces. At least this part of your faces. Thank you guys for coming. This is wild. We were talking beforehand about how it's been so long since we were in the same room together. Thanks for giving us an excuse to hang out and hug and
Yeah, like the same physical room. It's so
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, not even writing room. It's just
it feels amazing.
It's like fabulous reunion piled on fabulous reunion piled on fabulous reunion. It feels great.
Yeah.
Like a hot tub.
Yeah. That's why I'm so itchy.
that's sweaty.
Is that why?
Yeah.
So question from Georgie. What was it like going into the final bank of episodes, knowing the show would be coming to an end? I'm sure it was bittersweet, but what was the writing process like, knowing you'd have to sort of wrap things up as best as you can for a show full of so much love? Had there always been a plan for how the show would end?
I mean, I think the truth is we weren't 100% sure it was going to end. We'd been told anything from like 500 extra episodes to like one more 10-minute episode. We didn't know. But I think by the time we'd been through the financial troubles and COVID, we definitely agreed as a team that we owed you guys an incredible ending. You know, I don't think it means that we don't have more stories to tell and whatnot. We were already brainstorming in the green room. It was insane. Michael Eklund had some good ideas. But what a privilege to be able to give a show an ending. I think that made people feel great. Do you know what I mean? I think that I'm so relieved we made that decision. I think we would have done things a little bit differently if we'd known we had more episodes. Like maybe Dark Angel Waverly would have stuck around a little longer, stepped on more necks. I don't know if people are into that. Yeah, but yeah, there was just no, when you're not getting answers, you guys are our responsibility. You've been through us through thick and thin. We just couldn't let you down. You were the people to whom we felt responsible, so. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was also like absolutely fake.
Yeah, that
Someone
makes
says no,
sense.
that's not what happened.
It was also like May 2020, and we were coming back together. It was like the peak COVID, so it felt like the world was ending too. So we're like,
Yeah.
that makes sense. We're ending.
Yeah.
Writing about endings. That's right.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. The last thing you want to do is like end it on a cliffhanger and never come back to it, right? I mean, there are some loose ends that could be tied up, but it has to be satisfying. Like that person who went flying through the door.
She seemed nice.
Yeah, whatever happened to her? Hanging out somewhere. Yeah.
Maybe it'll take her 2 years to get back to purgatory. She's been walking, hitchhiking.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mama Earp and just a lot of fuckboys in Europe.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Yeah. That's the original Fuckboy Island. Yeah, just wherever Mama Earp is, her condo. Yeah.
Fuckboy Earp.
Yeah. I definitely need to know the sign for fuckboy. Just super. Gotcha. Okay, good.
I should have just caveated by saying for now. I forgot to put for now in there.
that's
Sorry.
okay.
The final episodes for now. Once those final episodes for now aired, how did it feel to see the reaction from the fans?
Oh my God. I was pretty scared. It felt so incredible. We had so much help from the people on this panel. Like, Matt did so much work on the finale. Christin did so much work on the finale. Like, honestly, it really felt like a group effort. But you're nervous, right? You're nervous. It's a lot of pressure having a wedding. I was so happy people got the final image with the mailbox. It was such a simple thing that you hope it's enough. But it felt bittersweet, but I was so happy that people seemed satisfied, I guess. What did you guys think? You hated it. No, counterpoint.
No, it's really hard. I mean, you've seen on a bunch of shows how hard it is to stick the landing, and to stick the landing on a show where everyone knows the DNA of the show, like all the fans know it so intimately, is like kind of impossible. So when I was reading the finale, I was like, oh, good luck, Emily, you know, blah, blah. And then I got to the end and I was like sobbing. Like the thing of having one simple thing that sums up not just the show, but like the community of people who found the show is like, it's really extraordinary and kind of an impossible task. And I think you fucking nailed it. So kudos to you.
No, to all of us.
It's also nice to be writing a finale for a show where people still want more of it.
Yeah.
As opposed to be like, yeah, you got
Like, didn't that show already end?
Yeah, exactly.
What are
Wrap
you,
it up.
season 14? What? I don't even know that's on. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I've worked on a lot of shows where you don't dare to go on the fucking internet and see like how unhappy people are. And this was like the opposite experience. I think we were all nervous, and like because of the time, everyone was stuck in their house and like stuck in their silo a little bit. And for me, it's hard to separate the experience of watching the finale from when we all watched it. But the incredible waves of like love and excitement and joy that spread across Twitter and just across podcasts and all kinds of things I read and listened to. It was like, it felt so good. It felt like going to a wedding.
Kind of speaking of that, when you were in the room for that last batch of episodes, for now, did you, like, was it bittersweet? You kind of said that earlier, Emily, but, like, you know, kind of knowing that, you know.
Yeah, I feel like bittersweet came later because at the end of the season, you're so fucking tired and panicked. Like, I, for some reason, decided to write the last 2 episodes, which was just so dumb. Why did you guys let me do that? With tons of help, just to be clear.
It's like extreme show running. That's
Yeah, it was
extreme
just
show
stupid,
running.
just like a total martyr. But again, with tons of help.
Well, the room was disbanded because
Yeah.
of COVID at the time.
Yeah, it was pretty
you know,
patch meal.
I was more or less not around anymore, and Shelley you weren't around as much anymore near the end. And just over email and Zoom and stuff, Emily and a couple of the others helped put it together. And so it did feel more abstract than there wasn't really a finality to it. Like our last day in the writer's room was March 12th, 2020. And we're all like, all right, we'll have a nice break. We'll see you back in 2 weeks once this is all cleared up and we'll finish off the season.
Yeah.
And so, you know, obviously it took a long time, so it was like a little bit anticlimactic for that.
Yeah. So I think bittersweet came later, for sure.
But like we also
Go
like it was a few of us in the room with like masks on and stuff, but we also really wanted to still make an episode, like
Yeah.
a fun episode,
Yeah.
and trying to like, even though it's really sad and like the show's ending, we didn't want it just to be like total downer the
Yeah.
whole time. So we had some like boobs in there.
I know we had a lot of fun
Yeah,
with like the haunted wedding dress, because I was like, I know what all the beats are emotionally, but what is the sci-fi element? What is the genre element? And then once we got Wynonna putting on the wedding dress and getting stuck in it, that was just so fun. And then I don't know if you guys are familiar with the work of Charlotte Sullivan. So that kind of took it to the next level. Yeah.
So I did have a question earlier from crowdsourcing. So when you were breaking down a season, like once you had figured out we have this many episodes, these are what each episode is going to be about. How do you go about the process of who writes each episode? Is it like dibs?
Cage match.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, we don't talk about it. No, just kidding. We have the privilege, I think, of like the most talented room in North America, first of all. Second of all, 100%. Like, I
Just North America?
Yeah. In North America. Europe,
Central
BBC's doing
America
some good
is
stuff.
amazing.
BBC's doing some good stuff. Australia's got you
Honestly,
beat.
it's
Sorry,
true.
guys.
Broad church is so
Bulgaria,
good.
can't touch it. But you know, the thing about the show is like, this is an incredibly small writing room, just so you know. This is like very unusual. And you know, these guys have to be able to do comedy and drama and genre and arcing and all that stuff. So their talent is incredible. I completely blanked on the question, but I actually was going somewhere. Oh, it was who writes what?
Who writes what?
So a lot of it is like, honestly, this is kind of boring, but it's seniority. Like the more senior writers get more scripts. I do think, what I was gonna say is because we're so collaborative, one of my favorite things about the show is we all really do break together, because I do think like one of the things that's important is anyone could write any episode. Do you think that's fair? Like everyone is so invested in helping each other and giving good lines and giving good scene. I feel like that's why the show was so great the last 2 seasons, is because you could have given this outline to any one of the writers and we were all invested. Everybody showed up. Nobody got out of the boat, as we say. Everybody's in the room trying their best. Sometimes you try to give an episode to people you think suits their talents, like Kuru, for example. But other times I think I like to challenge the writers. Like I think Noelle with Gnome Wife, you were like, I don't know if this is me. And I was like, I know you can do it. Or like, Jolene is such a Shelley episode.
Huge favor of, it was I'd never written genre before. You did me the huge favor of getting to go 5th. So I got to watch everybody kind of do their thing and absorb the show in a way that I think sometimes you just get thrown in and it's like you're writing episode 2 and it's like, like, I don't know, witches? So I had like and then you were like, I guess the thing is I wouldn't say like excel at the genre piece at that point. And so it was just like, you gave me a really awesome problem, which is like Nicole's worst day made worse by being attached to Wynonna, handcuffed to Wynonna. And I was like, oh, that's like, let's do that. Like, that sounds fun. Yeah, and then I don't
Plus
know.
a gnome.
Yeah, it wasn't, the procedural wasn't super like
tight.
sophisticated, but it's fun.
This has been such a good group of people in the writer's room to learn from because everybody is so collaborative. So it's nice to see how like a group of people can work together as one unit to make a story that is just, it feels so cohesive from episode to episode. So it's been such a cool journey to learn that from you guys.
And I've said it before on panels, but that comes from the top. That comes from a showrunner who's willing to listen to your stupid pitches on your stupid day and not call them stupid so that you come in the next day with your decent idea and you're not afraid to share it. That's up to the top. So
I think
thank you, Emily.
part of what Emily's saying about how any writer can write any episode is a lot of the times you end up with an episode because it's your turn.
Yeah.
Like we have a small number of people here, so if I write episode 2 or 3, you know, I'm writing it while 4 and 5 are being broken by other people, and then I'm done and I'm ready by 7 or 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So like you just, whatever's up, you got to be able to do it. So, and I think that's often why people end up, and I often, you know, sometimes you forget which episodes you wrote because you're involved in all of them, and then like this one might have your name on it, but you've written it, but you've helped write other ones, and kind of it almost gets lost in the shuffle of all that sort of thing because it is so collaborative.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to move on to some fan questions. So our first one comes from @CamillaStraight. Oh, that's my mask. Question for everyone. Which characters were your favorite to write for, and which ones were the hardest?
I always find characters who say fewer things my favorite to write for.
Why?
Brendon gets paid by the word.
An introvert?
So I obviously like to write Doc. And then there are characters, and Dolls was great too, yeah, because he was very direct and to the point. And then there are scenes where it's like this has to be a really satisfying emotional conversation between two people in a relationship, but regardless whoever it is, I'm like, who can help me with this one?
Right. He says that like he didn't write the engagement scene. I love it. Like, come on.
It was hard.
Good. Yeah. How about you guys?
I mean, I've everyone on the show, and the actors too, like so talented and like brave and taking big swings. Like they're all a joy to write for. I would say that personally, coming from like a network procedural background, Wynonna was the most fun to write for because you don't get to write women like that if you're making a show for network television in Canada. And so there was a lot of times where Emily was like, you gotta go farther, it has to be messier, I was just like, everyone's nice and they all hug at the end. And you were just like, it's gotta go, like, you mess it up. And I was like, oh, you're allowed to do this? Like, she's allowed to just be like borderline alcoholic and just like making terrible choices. And that was the fun of the show. It was a very freeing experience for me. I think everybody should get a chance to write a character like that. Truly exceptional.
Fuck, Noelle took my answer.
I agree with Noelle as well.
Oh, boo.
No, Bulshar was really hard to write for, I
Yeah.
think. We didn't know.
Yeah.
What's
We
going
didn't
on
know
there.
who he was, really.
Yeah. Well, at one point he was like an S&M creature in the
Yeah.
writing room, and then
Yeah.
once it was on the floor, we were like,
Yeah.
okay, we can't
Lord
do that.
Bondicus. or
Lord
whatever.
Bondicus was his original name.
Yeah, there was literally that guy.
I love Waverly. I think I like respond really well to like the good girl, try hard, get it all done.
Yeah.
Yes, she does.
I know, this is
And
like
Shelley's a
portrait of
Scorpio.
psyche.
So that's why that's where the Wynonna comes from. But Wynonna's like a raw nerve, which is why I think I love to write her. Emily established this very clear character who's like always like living on the edge of her feelings. So that's like really great as a writer to get in and just dig in. But I think one of the reasons the Earp sisters work so well is that Waverly's kind of got this like, come on guys, we can get it done thing that contrasts. And so it's really fun to write the pair of them together.
Yeah.
I don't know who is hardest.
I don't know who's hardest. Yeah. I think Dolls was challenging because Dolls had to be the straight man. But then, like, I was watching some season 1, and I was like, God, Shamir was so good at being, like, dry, though, and sardonic. Like, he was so excellent at it. But that's a hard role, kind of, to be like, you're not kind of the comedy relief. I love all the broads. Like, I love Mercedes just saying whatever the fuck she
Oh,
wants
fucking
all the
Mercedes,
time.
yeah.
Like, even like Constance Clutie is so extra. Like, I just like all these women just like saying all the things I wish I could say in the Starbucks line. When someone gets at the front and they've been in line and then they're trying to decide, you had 20 minutes. Ugh.
I will second.
over it, it's fine.
I will second Mercedes because I do remember I joked about the cage match in the story room, but there were sometimes like, I want Mercedes. No, I want Mercedes. No, I want Mercedes, because you could always do something with her.
Yeah.
She's such a grifter. She's always looking for an angle. So we had so many Mercedes stories that didn't get made.
Yeah. Yeah, lots. Spin off, what?
Well, and I mean, I wouldn't say in terms of like writing characters, some of the characters are harder, but in terms of writing for each cast member, it was always easy because you always knew they were going to pull it off and do a great job. But like Melanie set the tone for that, and it was really satisfying to write for Wynonna, because a lot of the times you write jokes in your head and they're on the page and it's just words and the inflection isn't there and the timing isn't there and all that sort of thing. And she would get it on a dry read in the read through perfectly every time, you know. So like it was really satisfying to write
And,
for her. And like
better than
so
you
did
wrote
everyone
it.
else. But like she set the tone for that.
Yeah.
I also love, like, similar to Mercedes, Nedley, you could just throw in any insane
yeah.
reference or line, like same with Mercedes, like just
Pretty
like
Little
know
Liars.
that he would like get Pretty Little Liars or Mambo Number 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just,
The truth tellers are fun, like Nedley and Mercedes, who are just like, Nedley's just watching all these horny idiots and try to like wrangle them and like, yeah, I love them all. Yeah.
I like the guy who had to eat shit, but he doesn't even like shit.
Yeah.
That was my favorite guy. Well, I didn't write it, but
based
That's
on a
your
real
spit
guy.
off.
I certainly
yeah.
encouraged Matt to
I don't even
keep
like
it dumb.
shit.
Just to clarify, I don't even like it. Yeah. Yeah.
So kind of on a similar vein, I gotta read names. From Laura at Way Hot Lunar.
Woo.
What has been your favorite season/episode to write for?
Favorite, did you say?
Favorite. With a
Scene
U.
or episode?
Season or
Season or episode.
Season. Oh, that's like picking babies, but probably one of the ones you guys
The seasons
were
I
on.
worked for, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know. Go ahead. Do you have a favorite season?
I have one.
Go, Christin. Yeah.
I joined the team in season 2, and every year felt like a different theme and a different sort of world that we were working in. But for me on set, especially season 4, really felt like a love letter to the fans, but also to the crew.
Oh,
Because a lot of us were in Calgary, you know, we have these big dry spells of work, and then Wynonna would come in, and everybody that worked on the seasons before usually really wanted to come and work on the next seasons.
so nice.
And knowing what we did about season 4, everybody was like, this is not just for the fans, but this also feels like it's for us as well.
Oh,
So,
that's so nice.
yeah.
That's nice. Thank you. That's so nice. Sarah. Best crew in the business.
I found it's funny. Just to jump in, like season 4, I found it's interesting to hear you say that, but to be in it, it was really tricky because there was so much stopping and starting.
Yeah.
You know, the show was canceled, and then it wasn't, and then it was like, you know, when was the air date going to be, and how many episodes, and all this sort of thing, and it was hard, and Emily.
Plus, we had the writing room in our house for a little while.
Yeah, we were renting a house while we were doing a renovation.
And Brendon was the dad in the house, and like
Yeah.
he had to do all the dishes.
Yeah, I was like the office manager.
Yeah. Okay.
And so there was that, and then it stopped again, and then it
Yeah,
picked
it
up
was
again.
hard.
So it was actually really hard,
Yeah.
and you know, Emily held it all together to keep the vibe of it and the continuity of it. So that, and you know, that was a trickier season, but ultimately the results were good. You know?
Yeah.
I liked season 3 because that's when we were this
That's what I was gonna
group
say.
here was you know, we were together and working on that, and we all had
Yeah.
such a great time, and so that was a good one.
Yeah, I'm going to pander to the crew here. Like, I honestly think season 2 was one of my favorite seasons, but it was a tough season writing-wise.
Yeah.
So, like, this was the dream team come season 3, and I just remember being in the writing room at the beginning of season 3, and I was like, oh my God, this is, like, such a talented group of writers, so fun. We had so much fun. Like, Jolene, Gnome Wife, like just classic stuff. Christmas episode, like just like when I think about as far as being in the writing room, I feel like season 3 was really fun. Noelle and Brendon watching football games and pretending they weren't.
It's not our fault. The NFL is on American Thanksgiving, which is not a holiday in Canada.
Yeah.
You're right.
If you don't want us to watch
I was
football,
like,
don't put it on.
Can you guys just be better at pretending you're not watching?
Absolutely
it?
terrible.
Just like pretend, go to the bathroom.
Put down the foam finger. Just
Go Lions.
And like whenever you guys were jumping out of the seats and yelling like, yeah, it was never for one of my pitches.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I was like,
And I just think that was rude.
I know. Yeah, I know. That's probably why Nedley ate Calamity Jane, because they cheered for a touchdown, and we were like, really? You guys want
guess
that
it's going
stuff?
You want us to kill Nedley?
This is
Like, why would
crazy.
we?
Yeah.
That was like the thing I was most scared about. Like the ending, I was like, fine. Some of the other decisions, I was like, can we come back from Nedley ate Calamity
We
Jane?
never found the body. We never found the body. She's out there living her best life.
I think she
That's
was
like-
I think she was delicious.
I love it. Such
Stone
a Scorpio.
cold Shelley Scarrow.
Yeah.
Guys, this never gets better. It's not the kind of thing that when you drink it, it
It's
tastes
so
better the
sweet.
drunker you
I'll
get.
have
It's
it.
Raspberry's
still
awful.
terrible.
It's awful. Don't have the
take it.
raspberry. Yeah. There goes our White Claw sponsorship, Noelle.
Oh,
We're gonna this close.
you're a good work wife.
Yeah.
Okay, another fan question from where this bag, for reference, this bag is so small. How many you got in there, Mary Poppins?
6 more. It's
One
a
of the writers
TARDIS.
suggested
It's a
tossing
TARDIS
them
pack.
into the crowd, and I was like, that's gonna be bad. Just like no head injuries. I don't know. Sorry, Kat. Sorry.
That's okay. I just looked down and then Shelley pulled out a White Claw from nowhere.
This is like Emily trying to keep us all on task in the writing room. It's just impossible and thankless. We love you, Kat.
I love you too. Thank you. So, from @AngelaCurlyTop1, is there one storyline you wish you had more time to develop?
Yeah, Dark Angel Waverly.
Dark Angel Waverly.
Yeah, I think
I know you
that
guys
was like.
hated the whole look and the sexiness and the smoking and the black wings and everything,
No,
but
everybody hated that look
they
with
did
the
not
leg
like that
band. Ugh, people were like people were like fast forward. Yeah, I think Dark Angel Waverly just exploring that whole storyline, her struggle to control it, like it just was it happened so fast. yeah.
mailboxes.
There's like storylines I look back at, like I'm like Cult at Bolshar. I'm like, oh, did that add up? I'm not sure. That totally made sense, but whatever. He was a snake.
Sometimes.
So I'm glad the pregnancy didn't last longer. I felt like that was plenty. That was good.
Well, although we didn't have much time to ramp up to it.
No, we had to redo it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million things. I was watching season 1 in anticipation for my workshop tonight, which is going to be a shit show. Just so you know, it's going to be a shit show.
After dark, baby.
But I do miss Dolls. When he left, I really missed that energy between the boys and just what he brought to the team. I did miss it. I think that writing more of him would have been incredible, just seeing who he became. But definitely Dark Angel Waverly is the one that I'm like, sorry team, we just had to get it done and get to a wedding. So, yeah.
Anyone else? No? Okay.
More Kuru, more trivia night.
Yeah,
Trivia
more
night,
Kuru.
more trivia.
He had a whole season in him. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
like
for
3-part
sure.
trivia night. Yeah.
I kind of missed the Revenants after we canceled
Yeah,
the
so did
Revenants.
I did too, yeah.
That was like when we were talking about seasons, that was one of the things that felt so great about season 3 is you could just do like Baddie of the Week because it was like a show that had really hit its stride, and so that's why you could come up with crazy shit like gnomes. Like
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, I love the
I
Revenant.
thought it was incredibly grounded. I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like it's a universal experience.
You did Gnomes on Rookie Blue, didn't you?
Yeah, how many episodes have you written about gnome boobs in your career? 4 or 5?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the gnome boobs get broken?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the whole thing. We made it up.
Doesn't everybody say like she's stacked like a gnome? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah,
I don't know. Someone make that T-shirt for Shelley Scarrow immediately. yeah, stacked like a gnome. You're thinking of dumps like a truck. Thighs like what? What?
We're not paying Cisco for that song. So,
Okay.
so this question is from Sarah Broccoli, who I think is in the room. What was the funnest out there theory you saw, I assume on Twitter, while you were writing the show?
Oh, there were so many good fan theories that I would read and be like, oh, we should have done that.
Or like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Like we are doing
Yeah,
that.
that's what we're doing.
What was the most out there theory? Oh, there was so much stuff about the Garden of Eden that was great. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to think about like, what was the best theory?
In your defense, it's been a couple years.
Yeah. There was a time when we would read them, but then we were like, we have to stop doing
Yeah,
this.
that's the
because
thing. I worry about reading
we-
them because of anxiety of influence.
Yeah. And also, like, well, you guys are better at this than we are.
Yeah.
Like, reading the fan theories, going like, that was a good idea.
I'm going to think back on that question and tweet it at some point, because there was some stuff I read and I was like, fuck, that was so good.
We're
there's
just
a lot
talking
of-
to Mike Leckman about the Bobo and Willa stuff, and
Oh, yeah.
there's some things he was talking about with that, which I think were pretty
Really
interesting.
good.
Yeah.
Some stuff about the throne of stone. Some theories about that were really good, like her sitting on the throne and she was going to turn to stone and Waverly, all that stuff. But
Yeah, there was a lot of, is Waverly actually Eve? Is that really happening?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was, yeah.
no theories. Everything we did was perfect. Moving on. You're very smart fandom. It's
'Cause you pay
extremely
attention.
intimidating.
Yeah, too smart. Too
Yep.
smart.
Yeah, quit it. No.
So this next one is from Heather at the Saxy one.
Ooh.
Did any of you in the beginning as writers, I think in the beginning of your careers as writers, have any sketchy/bad jobs under the guise of paying your dues?
Oh my God. This is why we drank the
Did you
White
have
Claw.
any sketchy/bad jobs
said that
under
like
the
saying
guise of paying your dues?
You say it like it's in the past, but
Yeah.
they'll be in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime I'm not with these people, it's just like,
Yeah,
Just full-time grift.
Like writing gigs or like other gigs?
Why don't we go for both?
What's the sketchiest job
Yeah.
you guys had?
There's definitely been some where I've been like,
Kristen.
oh, my mom is in the hospital, I gotta go, and then just like burn rubber out of there. Yeah. It's
Fake your own death.
Yeah, it's hard when you're starting out in production because everybody does this whole thing where it's like you have to pay your dues, but
Yeah.
you have to remember that you should never put yourself in a situation that's like super sketchy. Mildly sketchy is kind of fun sometimes, but like super sketchy, you just gotta like get the heck out of there.
Yeah, like if they ask you to drive like a truck on the Gardner Expressway and you're like a 22-year-old PA and you
Oh,
like,
Brendon
yeah,
totally did
I was
that.
doing
I had
that.
to drive
don't have the
RVs
right
from
license.
Toronto to Hamilton and park them in the hockey rink underground so Celine Dion could stay there when she was at the Juno Awards. A million
Doing
years
God's
ago.
work. That's God's work, Brendan.
We don't speak ill of Celine here.
You always say when you saw her sing, though, you were like, oh my God, a rehearsal.
Yeah, I teared up, but we digress.
I give the people what they came for.
I mean, I've definitely worked in situations where I was like, these producers should not be around
Oh,
people.
yeah.
Where I'm like,
Or like safety shit. Like, to be honest, I've worked on, if we're talking about work, like, I've worked on productions where I was like, someone's good at that. Like,
With
should
children.
be funny. Like, yeah, like, just like, that's the scariest thing, where you don't have that much authority and you're like, people on set are not being treated well, or the hours are insane. That's a really scary thing in production that we have to fight for, is like the hours are so nuts that for a long time there was a lot of terrible, this is such a fun panel, so many terrible car accidents where people would work for like 26 hours and then drive home and get into horrible car accidents. So now, like, that's why we have unions and rules and everything, but like that gets really sketchy if you're working late at night and it's freezing cold. And Earp never felt unsafe, thank God. It never.
which is
it-
amazing because there's literal scenes where people are dangling off of cliffs.
Oh, I
and,
know.
like,
In the freezing cold.
Yeah.
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 it's
They
amazing.
took it seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, that speaks to the Calgary crew too. Yeah. Incredibly seriously.
Yeah, those cliffs were really like this far off the ground.
Yeah.
Guys, the magic of movies.
Yeah. I've even told this story, like, just thinking about things like, sorry, we're digressing, but like even thinking about gun safety, like one time on my set, on our set, pardon me, Wynonna Earp, someone pointed Peacemaker at another character, 2 actors. They were just goofing around. But it was a rubber. For those of you who watched the auction, they're both like peacemakers that fire and then full rubber peacemakers because it's very heavy. And it was a rubber, so it wasn't a real gun. But I remember we had a guy who was an armorer, who was a very mild-mannered guy, and he came storming on set screaming at those actors and was like, you never point a gun at someone else on set. I don't care if it's a Nerf gun, like, and he had all the authority, like, at that moment, and they apologized. But anyway, sorry, not that fun, but sketchiness. Yeah, that's the advantage of getting older, too. It's like now I feel like the business, you can speak up a little bit more about some of that stuff, hopefully. Yeah, that's good. But also stripper was my answer. No, just kidding. Yeah, sketchiest job, just kidding.
Yeah, I've also worked in like comedy writing rooms that are like really competitive and annoying, and like everybody's trying to be very funny and not laughing at each other's jokes. Like we were talking about this earlier with like Amy Poehler has stories with the SNL room, whereas like this room was just really nice. Of like everybody was.
I feel like I'm kind of spoiled for other story rooms because it was such a safe space.
Yeah, lots of writing rooms can be very competitive, which is hard, which I always hated because I'm like, it's going to be you someday, man. It's going to be you someday who's pitching and you fall on your face. So don't take pleasure in someone else having a shitty pitch or a shitty day or a script that's shitty because, like, that's bad karma.
And the thing that's interesting about this room is that there isn't really a hierarchy. It's like Emily's show, and then all of us are like working together, trying to be like, let's just do something that makes Emily proud, and let's just make something that makes Emily happy.
Or like trying to make each other laugh. Like I'd put jokes in scripts for Noelle or for Brendon or for Matt. Like this one's clearly for Brendon, and there were like great days where we would sit around and read each other's scripts, and you just hear laughing coming from every direction, and that was my favorite experience, I think.
And normally it's very much like, this is the showrunner. This person is second in the room. This person is next in the room. Then there's this person. Then there's this person. Then there's this person that nobody talks to. So like, we definitely
It's usually
like,
me. It's usually me.
Yeah, and we're like, okay, so Emily's in charge. Brendon married her, so he won. And the rest of us are just trying to do our best to make a hilarious show.
What a power move, man.
That was a good decision.
Sheer nepotism.
Yeah.
Sheer nepotism.
All right.
I'd marry all of you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's nice.
we
Fuck,
do
Mary,
that?
kill the writers. Go.
It might just be the White Claw talking, but can we do like a group thing, you know?
Yeah. Polygamy?
Okay.
It's Toronto, baby. I've been telling people anything goes here. All these nerds are going to get arrested.
City
so.
Hall.
Okay, we're gonna have to speed round because we're like literally
go,
out
go.
of time.
Bullshit.
This is for the last question to honor both Sports Corner and Musical Theater Corner. This is a yes or no only, just the word yes or no. In honor of the 30th anniversary and the release of the new show of A League of Their Own.
Oh,
She dropped.
I'm so excited.
It was an accident.
Sports
It was
Corner,
an accident.
did Dottie drop the ball on purpose? Yes
Yes.
or no?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
And Musical Theater Corner, Leah Michelle and Funny Girl, yes or no?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, yes, and I hate myself.
I would sell my soul to just get some popcorn and go to that show. Are
Yeah.
you fucking kidding
I support the
me?
best. That's Leah Michelle, unfortunately. Yeah, she's going to be great for the role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love Beanie Feldstein, I mean, obviously.
I want to see her become Funny Woman.
I
Funny
want to
girl
see
and funny
Beanie
woman.
Feldstein Act 1, Leah Michelle Act 2.
Did anyone see Bernie in Funny Girl? No.
No.
Beanie? Sorry. Bernie.
Bernie Sanders was amazing.
You know what, Bernie?
Off Broadway, but so good.
Funny Girl? Yes, Dottie dropped the ball.
Can we
You know-
No,
please?
she did not. Absolutely
Okay,
not.
I'm gonna cut it off because we'll fight about it backstage. But thank
She
you.
did not.
Thank
She
you
did
to
not.
the panel room crew. Thank you to our interpreter. Thank you to our writers for joining us. And thank you for coming and for watching. Thank you so much.